let me be first to admit, my life, past few weeks, past few months, maybe the less part of a year, has been, inside out, back to front, left to right, never quite sure whether it's going 1,000 miles an hour, whether it's going at a slow snail's pace. And I guess, in truth, that's the same for all of us, isn't it? Whether we plan well, or just live and thrive in the moment, we're never quite sure where it's going to go, or what we're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis, because the universe literally comes down and slaps you crazy with something, and it just drops something on you, and it's like, fuck, I'm going to deal with this, and deal with it right now. So, for me, I guess the biggest one in recent months has been the fact that my daughter has come to live with me here in my apartment. Now, this is really where I wanted to be going with this, because I wanted to highlight some issues that I feel that are important around this. My daughter was made to go into the UK care system. Now, the UK care system is something I've taken particular attention to over the last year or so. I've been following the case of UK columns reporting on child abuse victim and whistleblower Melanie Shaw and her experiences of the UK care system. So to be told that my daughter had been in the UK care system for 9 days, that night when I was told that, I had a message from her at 1 o'clock in the morning saying, "Hey Dad, I'm in care." And it's not, you're not thinking of, is she okay? You're thinking, what the fuck? How did she end up in that position? What circumstances, what sequence of events have led to her being in there? But for all intents and purposes, she's now been taken out of that, she's now safe, and she lives with me. But this kind of coincides with a few stories and a few things that I've caught over the last few days that I'd like to be talking about. So the government has released some figures a few days ago that has almost gone unnoticed by the press. See, in 2013, 2012 and 2011, I can remember the process. I can remember the data being released of the child statistics of those who are in the care system, those who are in fostered. Now, I had to actually go to the Office of National Statistics website at gov.uk to have a look at the data. And to my surprise, it was actually released this week. So I was surprised that it hasn't been reported anywhere. It came out on the 10th. So, in terms of reference for data, the year 2014 actually refers to the financial year, which is April the 1st of 2013 through to the March 31st of 2014. That is what's called 2014, as a year, as a financial year. And within that time, there, in fact, was 68,840 children in the care system, which was an increase of 7% over the figures of 2010. There's also been an increase in the amount of children who are looked after in that period of increasing to 26%. Also, a 58% period of time, so a 58% increase in that period of time also has been the increase of people who have been adopting and who have been fostering. Something I quite fancy doing myself. I quite fancy being a foster carer, foster parent, and perhaps once I get a bigger apartment or a bigger house, that may actually occur. I also would like to help people who are out there who have found themselves to be victims of abuse and who need that support out there. Something I can feel quite passionate about. But again, to be told that my daughter was placed in this precarious position, although essentially it should be safe, right? I couldn't help but feel that the case where I've been watching over with Melanie Shaw, who spoke about her care system experiences, where there was physical, there was sexual abuse, as well as, and she states very clearly that children were suicided. And that was prior to the Notts Police starting Operation Daybreak, when Notts City Council and Notts County Council were actually paying out compensation to victims of Beechwood homes. So when I'm reading these stories, when I'm learning about this data, about my own council, my own area, and you hear the stories of Melanie Shaw and so on, and many of the victims who have come forward certainly in the last year, to know that my daughter was placed in that position made me feel really like I don't really find it to be talking about it. So I hope this is a bit of a therapy, I guess, for me. But don't feel it's that way. So one of the concerning things the last couple of weeks that my daughter has been living with me is that she says that in her class, in her tutor group of around 35 pupils, she states that she understands that 13 of them are in the care system. And she's also going to state that she thinks about a further quarter of her entire year, in fact, is in care. you know, that's a crazy number, isn't it? Obviously, I don't know. I don't know for sure. Again, this is an opinion stated by my daughter, but she certainly said that 13 students in her class. So let's just focus on that figure. That are in care. It's almost a quarter of a classroom that obviously don't have, you know, a parent, or don't have essentially a stable home environment. They obviously have a foster environment or a care home environment. So I can imagine that it never really quite feels like home. You're never quite sure you're safe. Well, obviously, if you're in a home of around, say, 20 other people, or you're at a foster parent's house with other people, they can't be good psychologically, mentally. I guess it deals with the short term. I guess it puts people in a safe environment, or potentially a safe environment, because of course these cases have come out, certainly like Beechwood Ball, Rotherham, Elm Guest House, over the years. And they play on your mind, certainly since those things have been whistleblown by victims of those places. And to know that potentially there's someone who was really close to you went into that environment, whether for protection or whether it's safe or not, you can't help but think that plays on your mind. So what are your thoughts about that? So a quarter of a classroom are in care. We have the thoughts of the fact that obviously my daughter's come to live with me. That's pretty cool. But the Office of National Statistics releasing this data that there's been a steady increase in the amount of people who are in care. Is it part of the system? Is it part of the plan? Some people would say it is. So what are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments below.